続きましてディストラプティブな力 DeFi の次の波を解き放つトークセッションを始めてまいります。本セッションでは DeFi に関する専門家の皆様をお招きしております。それでは登壇者の皆様をご紹介いたします。栗光弘直さん、ジェローム・オングさん、クリス・ライさん、そしてモデレーターを務めていただきますのはジョージーナ・バチュルーンさんです。The next session is Disruptive Force, Unlocking the Next Wave of DeFi. We have invited experts in DeFi for this session. So let me introduce our speakers in English. Hironao Konemitsu, Jerome Ong, Chris Lai, and the moderator will be Georgina Bachelin. それではお願いします。
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for coming out today. I know the next stage is very loud, so we'll compete as much as we can to speak louder. Let's see if we can outspeak them. So just to introduce, my name is Georgina Bachelin. I'm a co-founder and the CEO of the Order Wealth Tech, and we're based in Mongolia, Korea, United States, and as well as Singapore. We are the digital wealth management platform, and today we have a wonderful panelists coming from various different, organizations, and we have Hiro-san and Jerome and Chris. And today's theme, you all already know, it's about the DeFi. And obviously, it has been a quite interesting, period when it comes to a DeFi general in industry. So without ado, I would like our speakers to introduce yourself very briefly, and what is it that you do? Why are you here? Why do you have to be on the stage? What story you want to tell? Very briefly, about 2-3 minutes, please. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hiro Kunimitsu, and I was founder and CEO of Gumi, and Gumi is one of the leading mobile gaming company in Japan. And then I founded Gumi 2007 and listed at Tokyo Stock Exchange 2014. And 2021, I stepped down CEO position. And then now I'm running 4 entities. One is Gumi Crypto Capital. That's Web3 focused fund based in San Francisco. Size is 110 million. And then also I'm running like social fi company called Financier, and then also Web3 gaming company called Mintown, and VR gaming company called Thirdverse. I'm kind of founder and CEO of those 4 entities. And then the reason why I'm here, actually, I really don't know, because I'm entertainment or social or gaming guy, no, really the DeFi guys. But maybe, DeFi is going to expand, not only DeFi, like, social fi, gamify. So maybe, I want to talk about expansion, DeFi to another world. Thank you.
That's awesome. What a wide range of expansions. I love that, especially this social fi aspect of it, and that's wonderful. And I think the whole point of DeFi is giving the power back to the people. Everybody becomes the part of the, the system. So I think what you're doing is very wonderful. Jerome?
Sure. Hello. Thank you everyone for coming out. My name is Jerome. I'm the Aptos Foundation APAC Ecosystem Lead. So essentially helping projects, developers, teams, founders, institutions kind of build on top of Aptos. Aptos, for those of you who are not aware, is a layer 1 blockchain with the history of the team and the founders from the Facebook Libra DM blockchain days. So they created basically a new smart contract programming language called Move that's focused on scalability, performance, and upgradability. And then we've been live on mainnet for a little bit over a year now. And we're focused on growing, in all areas, right? And it's a performance-based blockchain, so DeFi is a huge, I think, vertical that we're looking at, both in terms of, open finance, where we term, developer-centric, decentralized finance, and also institutional finance, right? Where you have the RWA angles, the banks, the funds, and I think that's something that we are keen to kind of help push the boundaries for. There's a lot of chatter around Insti Finance, and myself actually just got in from the .0 forum at Zurich So that was a central bank focus forum with regulators, banks, the largest funds in the world. I think we have like very productive discussions there as well that we kind of help bring to Asia and bring to Japan.
Awesome. Really cool to hear that. And I also liked that your founder is like from Hawaii, which I reside in. Yay. All right. Chris, please talk about Scallop and why do you think it's, very deserving to be having a stage here, and what is it that you guys do? What's happening in Taiwan?
GM guys, I'm Chris. I'm the founder and CEO of Scallop. And I will introduce myself first. I'm a technical founder. I started my journey as a full-stack developer, become a cybersecurity engineer after it. And then I dive into crypto since 2017 as an Ethereum miner, and then start building DeFi stuff at 2021. And yeah, in the middle of 2022, we start to build a Scallop, which is a money market for the Sui network. It's also a layer 1 blockchain based on Sui Move. And Scallop is a money market, and then we offering including lending and borrowing, flash loans, lending derivative. We also have the PDP building tools, and we also build a swap and bridge for users for increasing the user experience. And we emphasize our high compatibility, security, comprehensive support, and security. And yeah, just the reason I'm here is I'm always a DeFi maxi. I really believe that DeFi will at least like take a bigger percentage of whole like financial system. Yeah, I think that's what like all of the gas that we aiming for, and it's what like we building for. So yeah, just love to be here. Yeah.
Awesome. So destroy the banks. Thank you so much. And I hear that many different aspects, very deep infrastructures, and then different expansion of a DeFi, and how you're building all various different tools as well. So my next question will be, among the three of you together, what do you think is now defining the current trend? Like, what's the disruption happening actually in the DeFi stage? And what do you think is going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years? And within that, I know that, user entry barriers and regulatories and all that, there is a little challenges. So like each of your different perspectives, as you develop your products, engaging your users, what are the key challenges? How do you think should be avoided in the future in the next few years? Yeah. Anyone?
Yeah, so I think so, investor point of view. So right now there is so many L2 or L1s. Yeah, so many companies try to build ETHFi Aptos version, ETHFi Sui version, or like Monad or like that, right? So I think, in this area, there is, not much good DeFi yet. So some of the DeFi UI UX is very good, but most of that is, very poor. Yeah, so success DeFi and then convert to other chain. This is, easy business, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo Hiro's comment here, right? Like, I think, like TLDR, there isn't a lot of innovation in that aspect because it's the same products all over, right? So I think, we have a very clear approach to how we look at that, and I think part of it is, with a performance-based blockchain, what is possible only on Aptos. So instead of like looking for easy forks and the whole debate around EVM versus non-EVM, it was a very, I think, tough but also good choice that I think the founders, when they first built the chain, decided that this is not going to be an EVM so that we don't have all the baggage from that. So you can rebuild everything from scratch, right? So when you talk about like only on Aptos, DeFi only on Aptos, a fully on-chain order book, that's something that's not going to be possible on ETH. It's not going to be possible on a lot of the L2s even, but it's already live on Aptos. So that's one of the aspects, right? I think we want to push the boundary as a layer 1 infrastructure. We want to set up this process so that the developers and the founders like Chris can come on to build. And I think like kind of empower that. I think the second part to that is, you talk about like the 3 to 5 year vision, and maybe even before that, right? Like maybe the 1 to 3 year. A lot of this narrative around institutional capital, RWA, regulation, it's being talked about, but like when you really drill into like the details of it, I think that's where it matters, right? RWA is used very often, but what does RWA actually mean? If you tokenize like a building, a asset, ETF, like it's different forms of it, right? And I think you need to ascribe different value to different perspectives of RWA. And I think that comes with the regulation. So two things. I think one, coming off again of point zero in Zurich, right? We got the chance to meet with the regulators of the world, not just in Europe, US, but international bodies like the IMF, BIS, and how they're thinking around standards and regulations around these things like this, right? And I think we maintain a very clear stance that we're not a fund, we're not a bank, we're not a regulator, and being a decentralized platform, we provide the technology and the infrastructure to allow people to build. So what we want to do then is provide optionality so that we don't form regulation or we don't shape regulation, but in the event that a regulator thinks about institutional finance and comes to say like, okay, I need this to be regulated in this manner with KYC, DID, this is my need. How do you set up certain transfer controls? How do you set up privacy and transfer assets with like time to settlement and finality? We actually have a suite of products, right? That the founder of that project or the user, which can be a bank, a fund, whatever it is, has the optionality to choose like, okay, we have something called build tokens, for example. For example, if Hiro-san were to transfer like some asset to me, and that's fine because we can be whitelisted, blacklisted with the addresses. And as a regulator, you would have the right to know like what these two people are transacting. But maybe for the general public, like you don't want them to know exactly, my competitors to know exactly what these two people are transacting and the value of it, right? So we actually have this thing called build transactions already live. So you can actually do a transaction. You know that Jerome and Hiro made a transaction to each other, but you won't necessarily see what asset it is and how much of the asset was being transferred. So again, like we provide tools like this to enable, better use cases, so that if the regulators want to pick and choose, like what the regulation is, not just today but tomorrow, then they are available. Like the technology tool stack is there and ready for people to kind of use that. And like the second part again, like this is a long first part. The second part is really, I think when you look at regulation in the US, Europe, and in Asia, there's a lot more, I would say, push from Asian regulators that's more forward-thinking, right? In Japan, for example, I think we've had very productive conversations with like FSA and other parts and other regulators in Asia, HKMA, MAS, Bank of Korea even, to talk about how does digital asset regulation, how do we think about digital asset regulation, right? And I think like all these different regulators are eager to have something set in stone. I think the takeaway from point zero as well is that, yeah, everybody is not the banks that are pushing against this. The regulator is actually very open to it. But banks being large organizations, you have very, very clear steps, right? Of like, even if you define decentralization, what does decentralization actually mean? Right. So the very, very clear, definite steps is I think what we can look forward to in the next 1 to 3 years.
Yeah, that's really encouraging to hear, right? Because like for all the new businesses, new entrepreneurs coming in, creating the new protocols, creating the new products, but I think the regulation is still kind of behind. The innovation is going forward. Like new products are popping up and people are starting to use it, market is, but then while it already gained attraction, there is like, a few million people already using it, transacting assets, and suddenly the regulation comes in and put a halt on it, and there is that, financial and then like a lot of different hidden costs underneath it, right? So as a, for Scallop, how are you dealing with those issues? And maybe you can follow on the Jerome's.
Yeah, I would say definitely DeFi is now still very early. Yeah, I'm very proud to be one of early bird builder here, and then I'm sure just you guys already know DeFi. Yeah, I'm sure you guys will take some like profit just if you guys are early. Yeah, because just, every like industry, if you just involve earlier, no matter like investment or no matter your knowledge, no matter your vision, I think it will definitely help your career a lot. So yeah, just I think DeFi is now still very early, and some of things that still have like a big improvement space. I think we can start it from the infrastructure layer, including like so many, including layer 1 or even layer 2 solutions. Yeah, let's still including the scalability. That's why like some old school solution like maybe EVM stuff cannot be like have a very innovation or like user experience still have a space to improve. And also the decentralized level and also like the security. Yeah, that's why we have like a smooth or have other like solution trying to take a part of this market. Yeah. And as a DeFi protocol, Yeah, just for the upcoming, just like 3 to 5 years, yeah, I would say that it will grow and bigger, like maybe even can be like 5 times to 10 times. I'm not sure because nowadays people more, when people have more and more knowledge, they will care more about just like you own your own assets, have your own permissions to control the assets you have. Yeah, and the most important like, key points, I would say, as a DeFi protocol, I would say it's the security and the risk management. Because yeah, definitely, if you're users, you definitely don't want you lose any of your assets, and you even don't know how you lose it, and then lose it on one like a smart contract or a product or just a protocol. So yeah, it's the key point I would say is also I'm a security guy, so security and risk management, and then yeah. By the way, I think Scalab have done the like highest security level and the highest risk management ever in all of the lending and borrowing DeFi protocols. So yeah, that's my answer.
Okay. That's actually a really interesting point because a lot of people, I know that we expect, as industry people, like, yes, DeFi, go for it, like 5 years, we're going to have 10 folds of growth. But in the end, it's about user interoperability and how it is like convenient for them to use, right? Like at the traditional finance, like a lot of people are not converting into DeFi because they find it still quite complicated, just like do the easy transactions. Like even us, we make mistakes. Like, we send it to the wrong wallet. I've lost my Bitcoin in the past, So how do you see that those, especially in you're very driven into the social inclusions and everybody should be, the social vibe. How do you think this little, market growth, we think people are going to use it, but how can we speed it up and how can we make it easier for them? Like obviously education is one thing, secure, like trustworthy is another thing, and how else do you think see like some space for the innovation and inclusion when it comes to the DeFi to make it a more mainstream?
Yeah, so I think UI UX is very important, and like in Japan's case, like one of the largest marketplace and also the fintech company called Mercari, they just start like crypto service. User use Mercari point and then can buy Bitcoin, and then their account within only 2 months become 2 million. And then the largest crypto exchange in Japan, CoinCheck, Bitflyer, their account is 3 million. So only 2 months, they reach to 2 million, right? So that's, their UI UX is, very simple. Just, using like, fintech app, right? So this kind of the, like, UI UX is, so important. And then right now, we also seeing like Telegram, Tones, like, growth, right? Yeah, so most of the game, like blockchain game, that's tough to scale. But Tones game, that's very simple and not that sophisticated, right? But yeah, I heard they're like, DAU is more than 2 million or 3 million, right? So I think, like, UI, UX and deep integrate to, like, Web2, like sophisticated app, I think, that's, very key. So right now, DeFi, even me use DeFi, it's scary. I don't think, my brother or sister can use it, right? So I think, UI, UX is, really the key of next growth.
So making it very easy, making it very accessible for anyone, nobody is left behind, right? Like even my 60-year-old grandma should be able to use and transact assets on it. Okay, great. Anything to add on that or?
No, I think user experience is key. And again, from Aptos' perspective, like this is essentially why we built Aptos the way it is, right? The founders scaled Facebook with that billions of users in mind. And I think the core infrastructure of the Aptos tech stack itself was really built for that. And there are products and services that we actually layered on top of that to enable use cases like this, not just for DeFi, but for the rest of the verticals. So, I mean, to give you a hypothetical example, and this is already live on Aptos, right? We actually have Aptos Connect, Aptos Keyless, and something called Gas Fee Payer. So that enables a user, a developer application like DApp, or whether DeFi or not, to be able to connect, the wallet, create a non-custodial wallet through the social login of the user. So, Hero's brother can now use the Google login, a Gmail, to log in, and it's created a wallet. With Aptos Keyless, you don't even have to you don't have to write down the passwords anymore with the 12-word seed phrase.
Take my money.
It's homographic. It's like encrypted on the back end and rotated, right? The keys are rotated so that you don't have to write it down on a piece of paper and split it in like 3 different safe deposit boxes. And then in the gas fee payer, right? The first transaction, you need native gas token for the chain. Most people, in our perspective, shouldn't even know what chain they're working on. It just needs to know it is work. The same thing that when you use your Visa and MasterCard, you don't think like, is this VisaNet or is this, what is this? So I think that's the future we're working towards. It might be a little bit further out than where we are today, but I think we want to make sure that we build that infrastructure in mind for that. I think that's one. So it goes back to user experience. Number two is the interaction with the real world, right? I think today a lot of DeFi today that is built, it's like, we do an on-ramp or off-ramp, we get into the ecosystem. Even interoperability between chains is already a little bit of a hassle. You have to use which bridge, like which one is safe, secure, like is it minted, like is it actually organic? And it doesn't really work that way, right? You need to go through a lot of friction to do that. And I think part of that is also like we understand today, and coming from a TradFi background, it's like, DeFi is here to stay, blockchain is here to stay. But a very good point that was brought up in Zurich again was that the banks are also here to stay. So that's a very good like salient reminder, right? Like DeFi is not going to disrupt the world. Like tomorrow there will be no banks. Like that will not be the case. So how do we create an ecosystem where actually the two parties are able to interact with each other, and people feel comfortable, right? Like the banks can again look at it and say that, okay, this is going to clear all the compliance requirements, the KYC requirements that the regulators put out to do, so that there is proper accountability. I think that's really the core of what we think about. Like, is it safe? Is it secure? That's like the basic understanding of it. It needs to be that first, and then you talk about the rest.
Yeah, very cool. Anything to add on, Chris?
I want to definitely emphasize education, like Georgina said, and user experience, like Hiro and Germany said. So it's like on Scala, we also thanks for the cryptography is getting improved day by day. So on Scala, we also integrate with Stashed. It's a wallet like developed by Mr. Lab, who is the father of Sui. And then you can also use your Google account, Twitch account, and going to support AUX and Discord to directly log in with our Scala DeFi protocol. You don't need to remember any your private key. And then beside of the education and user experience, one thing I want to add up is about transparency. If you like open source and have a bug bounty and have a well done documentation, and then even like even all of the core team members already docs. And people can, the smart people who can just learn by themselves, they can just only enter your website and then get every information, every like key point, every like important like design that's just they need to know. And then they will also just educate other like rookie users or newcomers in the space. So as a project side or layer one or other project sites, but we can do maybe like transparency. I think is also very important to just bootstrap the.
Right.
Yes.
Very fair point. And we are kind of living in a society where anything that could be basically tokenized, right? Now the RWAT is like huge. Whatever needs to be tokenized and the value transaction is happening. But those assets actually exist in different regions of the world, no matter how we digital make it. Like the ownership of the deeds and then as well as the transfer of the agreement, it's like very well tied into, tax system, jurisdictions, and I believe the security, transparency, and as well as user interoperability and making it easy is the key, right? And we only have 5 minutes left. So to wrap the whole thing up, DeFi is here to stay. It's still disrupting the financial world, and one step at a time. And we expect a huge explosive growth in the next 3 to 5 years, and it's going to scale up into like refi, social fi, many different fis. And we do have awesome protocols and infrastructures that you guys are building and enabling for many newcomers come in and make it easy for, and I really like the point of making it, integrated with the existing system, not like trying to get rid of them, like kind of help with each other. And because people not gonna stop using banks, right? It's something like very taken. But at the same time, how can we make the banking experience much easier, or how can we make the investment so much faster with the DeFi integrated into existing system? So I think that's a really awesome layer, like integration of it. And I'm wrapping it up for 2 hour She's telling me to shut up. Okay, so the last 5 minutes, and stage is yours, gentlemen. If you want to wrap up, and if you didn't go over any points, and if you really feel like passionate about giving some message to our lovely audience here for spending their wonderful afternoon with us, and please give your last remarks in 2 minutes each. Then I think we can wrap it up. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think what I like, and also what unique of the Web3 is all of the service become fintech. So game also become fintech, social also become fintech, text is also the fintech, right? So what I want try to do is not I want to create game plus finance. I want to create DeFi have game element, DeFi have community. I think next generation of the gamify is DeFi have game element. And then SocialFi is DeFi have community. Yeah, so that's now I'm trying to create.
I love that. We should chat after this, Hero. But yeah, I mean, like really, I think that's really the in all honesty, right? Like that's I think what we're trying to promote.
Right.
Look for founders like Hero, like Chris. I think that wanna and yourself, yeah, like to look for like people that are willing to push the boundaries. In whichever jurisdiction to have that vision, right? And as a core infrastructure again, like I think what we want to do is to be able to support that. So whether it's like any ideas on integrations with different types of elements, social, gaming, if it's not something that's already possible on other chains, I think we'd love to explore. I think that's the best developer and user experience that we can provide. So that if it's a standard that's missing, if it's a token asset standard, if it's a blockchain level, tech standard that we need to create for you. I think we're happy to talk about that, right? I think that's where like the feedback loop is important, and we can create the best technology that helps support people in building their vision.
Right. That is essentially the power of the DeFi, right? Everybody has a place. Everybody has a say in it. Everybody is included. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you are a blockchain user, yeah, just you definitely need to do your own research. Like even I say, oh, Scala is really safe. You should just like still do your own research, and then that's why I emphasize transparency is less much important. Yeah. So I mean, just yeah, if you lost any assets, nobody can help you. So only you can help yourself. So just keep doing your own research. And crypto is I love this industry. Yeah, you hold your own crypto means you own your own assets. No matter your mom or dad or your girlfriend or the governance cannot take it from you. And it's like means like real freedom. Yeah. So. Yeah, just do your own research, enjoy your crypto journey and DeFi journey, and then stay safe. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the panel for Disruptive Force, unlocking the next DeFi wave. And thank you, our lovely panelists. And really awesome to meet you all. And why don't we give a round of applause to our wonderful panelists, everybody. So this concludes our session, and I hope you enjoyed it. And our speakers will be probably sticking around State Conference, and please go say hi. And if you're an entrepreneur looking to connect, I believe they're very open. They seem to be very nice people. I met them in the backstage. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, everyone. それでは皆様ご登壇者の皆様にもう一度大きな拍手をお願いいたします。Please give a big applause.